This is Jeb Blunt, and it's Money Monday on the Sales Gravy Podcast.
Say make money, money, make money, money, money. Make money, money, make money, money, money. Money makes the world go round. I'm the talk around town. Remy gave me the sound.
What's up, everybody? It is Monday, the most important day of the week, because how you start your week matters. It can either set you up for success or failure. And that's what Money Monday on the Sales Gravy Podcast is all about. It's about getting you in the right mindset to start the week strong. At a practice round at a major golf tournament recently, one of the players hit an exceptionally beautiful shot. A fan in the gallery exclaimed, "Man, I wish I could hit a shot like that." The player overheard him and walked over and said, tongue-in-cheek, "No, you don't." The fan looked confused and said, "What do you mean?" The player replied, "You don't want to hit a shot like that, because hitting a shot like that means hitting 1,000 balls a day every day for the next 20 years, because that's what it takes to hit a shot like that." And that's true for pretty much everything you want to accomplish in life, whether it's playing golf, the piano, selling, investing, or mastering AI. If you want to be elite, you have to do a lot of repetitions of the same thing over and over again in order to hone your skills. You've got to practice constantly. And this is what a lot of people miss. You see, the truth is, you can have anything in life you want within reason, as long as you're willing to do the boring work. Just take a look at Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of our time. You know what separates Warren Buffett from all the other investors? He's read over 100,000 financial statements in his lifetime. Think about that. 100,000 boring financial statements. It's not exciting work. It's not even sexy. It's sitting alone, poring over numbers, analyzing balance sheets, income statements, cash flow statements, day after day, year after year, decade after decade. But that boring work made him one of the richest people on the planet. Or how about the late Kobe Bryant? Kobe was famous for his Mamba mentality, and that meant showing up at 4 a.m. to practice, hours before his teammates. It meant shooting thousands of the same shots over and over. His trainer once said that Kobe would practice one simple move 700 to 800 times in a single session. Not 10 times, not 50 times, 700 to 800 times. That same move over and over again. And that boring work, well, it made him a legend. Going out to the driving range and hitting 1,000 balls with your 7-iron is one of the most boring things you can possibly do. I mean, crap, hitting 50 balls with your 7-iron is boring. But that's what separates the top performers on the tour from the amateurs. They're willing to do the boring things. In sales, top performers are constantly studying. I meet them all the time. They show up in my seminars, they read my books, they're listening to this podcast right now, and they're taking courses on Sales Gravy University. They consume everything. And it's not just me. They consume things from all the other sales experts as well. They're learning every single day, and they practice. When we run role plays, the top performers, they jump right in. They recognize that, yeah, role playing is boring, but you got to do the boring things, the repetitive things, in order to get what you want. That's the key to greatness in anything. So the questions you have to ask yourself when you make that wish for what you want or you set a goal is, how bad do you really want it? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? Are you willing to grind day in and day out? Are you willing to do all the boring reps that nobody ever sees in order to reach the very top? You can accomplish anything once you accept that the price for success is paid for in advance. You see, the price of admission to elite levels of any profession is doing the boring work that most people are unwilling to do. Let me give you an example from my own life. Years ago, when I was starting out my sales career, I made a commitment to make 100 cold calls every single day, no matter what, rain or shine, good mood or bad mood, whether I felt like it or not, I always made 100 calls. And you know firsthand that cold calling is not exciting work. It's tedious, repetitive, and it's rejection dense. And honestly, most people, including my boss, thought I was nuts. But those 100 calls a day allowed me to outperform and out-earn all of my peers. It made me the top sales rep in my Fortune 200 company. It bought houses, made me wealthy, and eventually it gave me the platform to write books and speak on stages and create the very podcast that you're listening to right now. I like to think about it as the Michelangelo principle. You know the story. Someone once asked Michelangelo how he created his masterpiece, David, from a solid block of marble. And he said, "I just chipped away everything that didn't look like David." Excellence in sales works the same way. You chip away at your limitations through boring, repetitive work. Every cold call you make chips away at your fear of rejection. Every role play you participate in chips away at your awareness around handling objections. Every book you read chips away at your ignorance about your industry or your craft. It's not glamorous. Nobody's going to film you making your 100th cold call of the week and post it on social media. Nobody's going to celebrate you for doing pre-call planning on a Sunday evening. Nobody's going to give you a standing ovation for waking up an hour early to invest in professional development before you go to work. This is the invisible work that nobody ever sees. The small, seamless, insignificant actions that are performed consistently over time that, by the way, yield massive results. That's called the law of cumulative impact. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time, trained 7 days a week for 5 straight years without missing a single day, even on Christmas and birthdays. His coach said that by training 365 days a year, Phelps gained a 52-day advantage over competitors who took Sundays off. Those single days compounded into the most dominant swimming career in history. But the problem is most people quit before the compound effect kicks in. They do the boring work for a week, maybe a month, but they don't see immediate results and they give up. They never experience the exponential growth that comes from consistent boring effort applied over years. Look at Tom Brady. For 23 seasons, he was typically the first player to arrive at the facility and the last to leave. At 44 years old, he was doing the same boring drills he did as a rookie. His former teammate once said that Brady would spend hours studying game film that most quarterbacks would skip over. And while other players were enjoying their off seasons, Brady was working with his receivers on timing routes. While they were taking vacation, he was perfecting his footwork. And that commitment to being uncomfortable, to sacrificing, to doing the boring work is why he has 7 Super Bowl rings. But that discomfort is where growth happens. It's like working out. If you've ever done any serious physical training, you know that muscle growth happens when you push past comfort. When your muscles burn, when you feel like you can't do one more rep, that's precisely when you need to do one more. And sales excellence works the same way. When you're tired of practicing your pitch, do it 5 more times. When you're dreading making another cold call, make 10 more. When you think you've studied enough, read one more chapter. And every morning, eat the frog. Do the one thing you least want to do first thing in the morning. Usually that thing that you're avoiding is exactly the thing that will move your career and your success forward. Back in the fall, I was working with a sales team, and there was this one rep called Mike. Mike was the middle of the pack, not terrible, but not stellar either. During our training, I emphasized the importance of doing research and reading and developing industry knowledge. Most of the team nodded along, but Mike took it to heart, and he committed to spending 15 minutes each morning first thing to gain a better understanding of his industry and to grow his business acumen. Last Friday, I got a call from Mike's sales manager. Mike is now the number 1 performer on the team. His close rate has doubled and his average deal size has increased by 40%. When I called Mike to congratulate him, he confessed that doing the research was really boring, and at first, he thought it was a complete waste of time. But after about 2 months, he said he started noticing patterns and understanding customers better, and that his discovery calls got deeper. He started spotting opportunities that he would have missed before, and his customers gave him a seat at the table because they started to view him as an expert. This is exactly how doing boring work can change your career. What starts as tedious discipline eventually becomes your competitive edge. Now, before we go any further, let's address the myth of natural talent, because I hear it all the time. Oh, she's just a natural salesperson, or he's a born closer. Well, it's all just pure BS. I've coached naturals who failed because they relied on charm instead of developing solid skills. True sales excellence, it's not about what you were born with. It's about process and skills, and those skills are built through the discipline of doing the boring, repetitive work every single day. Just take Jerry Rice. He is widely considered to be one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. But was he the most naturally gifted athlete? Well, no. He wasn't the fastest and he wasn't the strongest. He certainly wasn't the tallest. But his work ethic was legendary. His off-season hill training program was so grueling that his teammates who tried to join him would literally vomit. He would run the same routes thousands of times until they were perfect. He would catch hundreds of balls after practice when everyone else had gone home. You see, that's not natural talent. That's an unnatural commitment to doing the boring work, because repetition is the mother of skill. I'm going to wrap up in just a second with my final thoughts, but first, I'm super excited about my brand new book called The LinkedIn Edge. It's available for pre-order right now. This new book, The LinkedIn Edge, teaches you how to combine LinkedIn with AI and fanatical prospecting sequences to put more hot opportunities into your pipeline while reducing cold calling. I'm super stoked about this book, and I know you will be too. You can pre-order it now on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and when you pre-order, you'll be the first to get it. Also, a big shout out to Georgia Ann Richter. She posted this to her audience on LinkedIn. She writes, "I can't stop thinking about what I learned from Jeff Blunt's podcast this morning. You can't be slouched over with a question mark and expect to perform like an exclamation point. Thank you for listening and spreading the word, Georgia. Truly appreciate it." And thank you to listener TLC0406 who posted this review on Apple. They say, "Start your day with this podcast. It's a quick listen full of great nuggets on how to be a better salesperson." If you're getting value from this podcast, please take a moment to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Be sure to click the follow button so you don't miss any episode, and take 3 seconds, literally 3 seconds, to give us a 5-star rating or write a short review. Before the Beatles became famous, they played over 1,200 live shows in Hamburg, Germany. They would play 8 hours a night, 7 days a week. That's over 10,000 hours of practice in just a few years. And that's what made them the Beatles. Not just natural music ability, but thousands of hours of repetitive performance when nobody knew who they were. So here's the bottom line. Greatness has a price, and that price is paid in advance through boring, repetitive, often uncomfortable work. If you want to be a lead, whether in sales, sports, music, leadership, or any other field, you must embrace the boring work. You must fall in love with the process. You must find joy in the small improvements, the tiny victories, the gradual mastery that comes from doing the same things over and over again, but doing them a little bit better each time. There are no shortcuts. There are no hacks. There is only dedicated focus and putting in the work. So when it's the end of the day, when everyone else around you is packing up and going home, when that little voice inside your head tells you it's okay to quit, shake it off and make one more call, because that's the price of greatness. This is Jeff Blunt, and I'll see you next time on the Sales Gravy Podcast.
Survival of the fittest, you can sink or swim. I've been broke, I ain't never going back again. I need some C notes, some cheddar, and a stack of ends. I need a bowl of dough, I don't need no Facebook friends. I need a pack of them snaps, a handful of Fetty Wops, and rubber band on my greenbacks. Look, dawg, don't be playing with my paper. I need every red cent, that's why I brought my little scraper. Money, 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 money. Take